In this video, I'm gonna go over every action figure, and I mean every action figure that you need in order to complete a full set of vintage Star Wars action figures. I'll go over each figure in depth, their history, what they came with, and how much they're worth today. This is the ultimate collecting guide, so let's go. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. The year was 1977, and only 1 month before the first Star Wars movie came out, which was in May of 1977. 1 month earlier, in April, Kenner and Lucasfilm would sign a deal allowing Kenner to officially hold the license to produce all of the toys and action figures for all of the Star Wars movies. And with that short timeline, they were unable to get toys on the shelves until almost a year later in early 1978. But we did get the famous early bird package, which gave us our first 4 action figures. Kenner would go on to sell 250 million figures, and the sales price in today's money would be a staggering $1.4 billion. So let's go over the action figure line that would set in motion all other toy lines and how they were made and marketed today. First, we're going to start with the original 21 action figures from the first movie, starting with Luke Skywalker. First released in 1978 in the Early Bird set. The Early Bird action figure would come with the double telescoping lightsaber variant, and prices for that figure today are coming in at averages of $1,000 for excellent examples. And 2 other notable variants are the brown hair versions and the ultra rare orange hair variant. Luke Skywalker would get his official cardback release in 1978 on the 12A cardbacks. The number 12 is used because the rear card art depicts 12 action figures released in the first wave. This is the Hong Kong single telescoping lightsaber version with blonde hair that I picked up for $74.34. And today, prices for a yellow hair single telescoping Luke Skywalker figure in great condition are coming in at prices of $100. Princess Leia Organa, first released in 1978 in the Early Bird set. This figure would get released on the 12A cardbacks in 1978. This is her Hong Kong version that I got for $69.99, and she comes with the blue-black Leia blaster. Today, you can find these figures selling for average prices of $120. I have 2 R2-D2s. This one in the front is from the Droid Factory playset, released in 1979, and I got that for $100.50. Then the other in the back is the 1978 Hong Kong version, first released in the Early Bird set, that I got for $81.29. R2-D2 would make his official debut on the 12A cardbacks in 1978, and today you can pick up loose figures of R2 for average prices of $60. There is also the Japanese Takara-made wind-up toy released in 1978, which sells today for average prices of $250. Chewbacca was released in 1978 in the Early Bird set, and his official cardback release was on the 12A cardbacks in 1978. This is the Hong Kong version that comes with his blue-black bowcaster. This cost me $25.46. Today, you can pick up excellent loose examples of Chewie for average prices of $30. C-3PO was released on the 21A cardbacks in 1978. This one is just a little loose in the limbs because he's from my childhood collection. But expect to buy this figure today in excellent condition for average prices of $25. Darth Vader was released in 1978 on the 12A cardbacks, and this is the Hong Kong single telescoping lightsaber version with a black vinyl cape. I got this for $37. Today, expect to pay prices of $70 for figures in excellent condition. This Hong Kong Imperial Stormtrooper was released in 1978 on the 12A cardback. It comes with the blue-black Imperial blaster, and I got this for $43.10. Expect to pay $50 today for figures in mint condition. And if you like the content so far, please give this video a like and please subscribe. I talk about everything vintage Star Wars. Ben Kenobi is a Hong Kong white hair variant single telescoping saber in a vinyl cape, released in 1978 on the 12A cardbacks, and I got him for $35. Today, you can pick up a loose Ben Kenobi in excellent condition for average prices of $60. Here are my Han Solos, both Hong Kong. The one in the back is the small head Hong Kong version released on the 12A 1978 cardbacks. They both come with the blue-black Rebel Blaster. I got this one for $55.93. Today, expect to pay $70 for loose figures in great condition. And in the front is the big head Han Solo that was released shortly after the small head in 1978 on the 12C card backs. I got this one for $36.72. Today, mint condition big head Hans are pricing out at averages of $50. Here are my Jawas, both Hong Kong, but the vinyl cape Jawa in the front was released first in 1978 on the 12A card back and comes with the blue-black Jawa blaster that has a raised bump on the action chamber. I got mine for $1,768. Today, prices are slightly lower with averages at $1,500. The cloth cape Jawa was released shortly after on the 1978 12B card backs. This comes with the blue-black smooth Jawa blaster, and I paid $49.27 for mine. And today, expect to pay $70 average for figures in mint condition. Sand People was released in 1978 on the 12B card backs. This is the Hong Kong variant with solid tusks. He comes with a vinyl cape and a gaffy stick. I paid $20 for this one, and prices today are coming in at around $50. The major variant is the Hollow Cheeks version that was released in 1983. The name changed from Sand People to Tusken Raider. In this variant, the face tubes are hollowed out instead of being solid protrusions like its predecessor. A loose version of the Tusken Raider variant will run you average prices of $400. The Death Squad Commander was released in 1978 on the 12A card backs and comes with a blue-black Imperial blaster. This Hong Kong version is from my childhood collection, but I paid $10 for the blaster. The name of this figure was changed in 1980 to the Star Destroyer Commander on the Empire Strikes Back 31A card backs. Prices for this figure are coming in today at averages of $40. Greedo was released in Wave 2 of the action figure line in late 1978 on the 20B card backs. This Hong Kong version comes with the blue-black Rebel blaster, and this one is from my childhood collection. Prices today for a loose Greedo are averaging $35. You may see me using this collection sheet. It's where I keep my collection organized, and you can pick yours up on my website. Hammerhead was first released in 1978 on Wave 2 of the 20B card backs. This Hong Kong version comes with the blue-black Imperial blaster, and I paid $10 for mine. You can buy a loose figure today for average prices of $30. The Snaggletooths have an interesting story. The blue Snaggletooth in the back was released in 1978 in the Sears catalog, either as a 2-pack with Greedo or in the Cantina Adventure set. He comes with the blue-black Rebel blaster, and I got this one for $425. Today, you can pick this figure up for average prices of $550. This Hong Kong red Snaggletooth was released in 1978 in Wave 2 on the 20B card backs. He comes with the blue-black Rebel blaster, and I got this one for $33.88. Today, you can find them for prices averaging $35. Walrus Man was released in 1978 in Wave 2 on the 20B card backs. This Hong Kong version comes with the blue-black Imperial blaster, and I got him for $31. Today, you can pick one up for average prices of $27. Luke Skywalker X-Wing Pilot was the first action figure I ever had as a child. Although the one in my case isn't from my childhood collection, I still have my original Luke in a Darth Vader case with all my other childhood figures that weren't good enough to make my big case. This Hong Kong figure was released in 1978 on the second wave of the 20B card backs. He comes with the blue-black Rebel blaster, and I bought him for $50. Average prices today are coming in at $35. R5-D4 was released in 1978 on the second wave of the 20B card backs. This one is from Hong Kong, and it's from my childhood collection. You can get these today for average prices of $35. The major variant in R5-D4 comes in the sought-after red bar version, where the small vertical bar on the upper right front is filled in solid red. This variation comes from the Cater factory in China and was a factory error. You can get this figure in today's market for average prices of $515. The Death Star droid was first released in 1978 in the second wave on the 20B card backs. I got this Hong Kong version for $28.01. In today's market, expect to pay prices around $25. This Hong Kong Power Droid was first released in 1978 in the second wave on the 20B card backs. This is from my childhood collection. You can pick this figure up today for average prices of $33. And the final figure from the Star Wars movie card backs comes in the first figure to be released as a mail-in offer. First released in 1979, this is the Hong Kong variant that comes with the blue-black Imperial Blaster. I got this for $64.75. You can pick up a loose Boba Fett figure today for prices averaging $85. One of his major variants comes in the Tri-Logo version, first available on the Return of the Jedi European card backs in 1983. The paint application is lighter in nature, and you can pick up a loose example today for average prices of $350. Now, we're getting into all the figures for The Empire Strikes Back. The Empire Strikes Back toys from Kenner started hitting toy shelves in 1980. And not only did it include the toys from the new movie, which was breaking box office records being set by the first Star Wars movie, they also updated the packaging for the first 21 figures released. But here are all of the new figures released for The Empire Strikes Back, starting with Wave 1 in 1980. Leia Organa Bespin Gown was first released in 1980 on the 31A card backs. This figure has one of the most variants in the Kenner line, and collectors can spend a lifetime trying to collect them all. She comes with a patterned vinyl cape and a blue Leia blaster. In the Return of the Jedi card backs, her name was changed to Princess Leia Organa Bespin Gown. I got my loose figure for $80.81 on eBay. And today, this figure is selling for average prices of $80. FX7 Medical Droid was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs and has no loose accessories. His head does swivel and he has wide arms that can be lifted up. His name was also changed on the mint on cards for the Return of the Jedi toys to simply FX7. I got the loose figure for $20.61 on eBay. You can pick this droid up today for average prices of $13. And if you like the content so far, please give this video a like and please subscribe. I talk about everything vintage Star Wars. Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs. He comes with a white vinyl cape that attaches to his rear waist and a blue Imperial Hoth rifle. This figure came from my childhood collection. And to get a figure of your own today will cost you average prices of $48. Rebel Soldier Hoth Battle Gear was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs and comes with the blue Bespin blaster. I got this one gifted from my friend Matthew K. Buying this figure today will cost an average of $20. Bosk Bounty Hunter was released on the 31A card backs and comes with his own unique blue blaster rifle. One note on Bosk is that there is a neon green version of him nicknamed Toxic Limbs, which is worth quite a bit of money. And to get this sought-after variant will cost you average prices of $3,000. I have the common version that I got from eBay for $23.73. Buying this figure today will cost an average of $20. IG-88 Bounty Hunter was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs. He comes with two accessories, the blue Imperial Blaster and the blue IG-88 long rifle. This figure comes from my childhood collection. And to get this Bounty Hunter today will cost an average of $30. Luke Skywalker Bespin Fatigues was released in 1980 on the 31B card backs and was the first action figure to come with a lightsaber that didn't protrude from the arm shaft. And although we never saw Luke with a yellow lightsaber, he comes with one, and also a blue Rebel Blaster. This figure was gifted to me by Fourth Moon Toys. Buying one today will cost you averages of $60. Han Solo Hoth outfit was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs and comes with the blue Rebel Blaster. His name was changed to Han Solo Hoth Battle Gear for the Return of the Jedi line of toys. I got this figure for $31.97 from eBay. You can pick this figure up for an average price of $25. Landau Calrissian was first released in 1980 on the 31B card backs, and on this early version, his eyes and teeth were not painted. It was only after the 41A card back releases did they come with painted eyes and teeth. This figure comes with the blue Bespin blaster, and I got my no smile version for $22.32 from eBay, and my painted smile version from Facebook for $16.25. Today, you can pick up the non-smile variant for $20 average price, and the smile variants are going for averages of $30 currently. Bespin Security Guard version A was released in 1980 on the 31A card backs and comes with a blue Bespin blaster. I got mine from eBay for $26.94. Today, they are selling for average prices of $22. Now we get into Wave 2. Yoda was the only figure released in Wave 2 in 1981 on the 32B card backs. He comes with an array of accessories: a soft goods robe, gimmer stick, a belt, and a snake. The snake can come in two colors, orange or brown. But Yoda is another figure that has a multitude of variants, with the brown snake version commanding higher prices. His name was changed to Yoda the Jedi Master for the Return of the Jedi line of toys. I got my orange snake Yoda from Orange Droid Vintage Toys for $78.43, and my brown snake Yoda for $162.42 from eBay. A brown snake Yoda today will cost you an average of $150. And orange snake Yodas are less expensive, coming in at averages of $80 currently. And now for Wave 3. Ugnaught was released in 1981 on the 41C card backs and comes with a white toolbox. This figure also comes with a blue apron, although this can come with a purple apron. I got my blue apron variant from the Imperial Commissary on Facebook for $29.27, and my purple variant for $23.19 at Orange Droid Vintage Toys. A blue smock Ugnaught will run you average prices of $30 today, and the purple smock variants are pricing out at $26 currently. Dengar was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the blue Imperial Hoth rifle. I got this from eBay for $18.84. Average prices today are coming in at $15. Han Solo Bespin outfit was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the blue Bespin blaster. I picked this one up from eBay for $19.96. Today, they are selling for average prices of $30. Lobot was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the blue Bespin blaster. I got this from eBay for $23.65. Today, Lobot is selling for averages of $21. Leia Hoth outfit was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the blue Princess Leia blaster. Her name was changed to Leia Organa Hoth outfit for the 47 card backs, and changed again to Princess Leia Organa Hoth outfit for the Return of the Jedi 65 card backs. I got this figure for $37.71 on Facebook. And today you can pick one up for an average price of $80. Rebel Commander was first released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the Black Hoth Rebel rifle. I got this for free when I bought my Wampa on the Imperial Commissary. But if you want to buy one today, it's going to cost you average prices of $20. AT-AT Driver was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the Black Imperial rifle. I got this from eBay for $25.53. Getting one today will cost an average of $22. Imperial Commander was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with the blue Imperial blaster. I bought this on eBay for $30.16. Today, the Imperial Commander is going for average prices of $27. 21B was released in 1981 on the 41A card backs and comes with a silver medical staff. The name was changed to 21B spelled out for the 48 card backs, and the spelling was changed again for the Return of the Jedi card backs. I got this from eBay for $28.01. Today, 21B is going for average prices of $33. Now, Wave 4. R2-D2 with sensor scope was released in 1982 on the 45A card backs. This new version of R2 comes with a blue sensor scope in his dome that you can raise. I got this from eBay for $21.37. Prices today are running an average of $40. C-3PO with removable limbs was released in 1982 on the 47 card backs. He disassembles into 5 parts and comes with a black vinyl backpack. I got this on eBay for $34.47. You could get one today for average prices of $30. Luke Skywalker Hoth Battle Gear was first released on the 45A card backs in 1981 and comes with the black Hoth Rebel rifle. I got this for $32.96 from eBay. Getting one today will cost you an average of $23. AT-AT Commander was released in 1982 on the 45A card backs and comes with the blue Bespin blaster. I got the blaster from Facebook for $10 and the figure comes from my childhood collection. Prices today are averaging $25. Cloud Car Pilot Twin Pod was released in 1982 on the 45A card backs and comes with 2 accessories, a pilot blaster, and a communicator that is unique to this figure. The name was changed to Cloud Car Pilot on the 48 card backs, which remained for the Return of the Jedi card backs. I spent $36.51 on eBay for this figure. Today, you could get one for average prices of $67. Bespin Security Guard version B was released in 1982 on the 45A card backs and comes with the blue Bespin blaster. I got the blaster from Facebook for $10 and the figure comes from my childhood collection. Prices today are averaging $35. Now Wave 5. Zuckuss was released in 1982 on the 48A card backs and comes with the unique Zuckuss rifle. I got this for $44.79 from eBay. Today, prices on Zuckuss are averaging $28. Imperial TIE Fighter Pilot was released in 1982 on the 47 card backs and comes with the gray pilot pistol. I got the pistol from Facebook for $16 and the figure comes from my childhood collection. Today, the TIE Pilot is going for prices averaging $35. Wave 6 is the final wave. Forlom was released in 1982 on the 48A card backs and comes with 3 accessories, chest armor, a soft goods cloak, and the black Forlom rifle. I got this from eBay for $35.69. You can pick up a figure for average prices of $31 today. When Return of the Jedi hit theaters on May 25th, 1983, it was the most anticipated movie of all time because of the huge cliffhanger that The Empire Strikes Back gave us. What would happen to Han? How would the rebellion bounce back? And how would they resolve Luke and Vader's conflict? Not only would Return of the Jedi answer all of those questions, but we would get new characters and be introduced to new planets. And with these came the toys. And Kenner delivered. The figure molds were even more detailed, the accessories even more impressive, and the number of figures had collectors saving their hard-earned money. And it all began with Admiral Ackbar. Admiral Ackbar was officially shown as a promotional mail-away figure on the 48B Empire Strikes Back card backs. When fans sent in 6 proof of purchases, they wouldn't get the carded figure, however, but Ackbar would come in a white mailer box. Admiral Ackbar would get his official release in 1983's Wave 1 of the action figures on the 65A Return of the Jedi card backs. He comes with a black staff that's unique to Ackbar. The loose figure in my case is from my childhood collection, and I bought his staff from Facebook for $15.12. Today, prices for a loose Admiral Ackbar figure are averaging $20. 9nub was initially offered as a promotion on the 48 backs of the Return of the Jedi transition cards and would come in a white mailer box. In 1983, he would get his official release on Wave 1's 65A card backs and comes with a black pilot blaster. I got mine from Orange Droid Vintage Toys for $17.86. Today, this action figure is selling for average prices of $23. Luke Skywalker Jedi Knight outfit was released in 1983's Wave 1 on the 65A Return of the Jedi card backs. Luke is molded in his black Jedi robes with a soft goods brown hooded cloak. Some collectors say he should have come with a black cloak, but in the movie, Luke's cloak is brown. The way Jabba the Hutt scene was filmed and color processed, it darkened the cloak to appear black. The action figure cloak comes in 2 variations, with or without a metal snap. There are variation in Luke's other accessories as well. He can either come with a blue or green lightsaber. The blue lightsabers have only been known to be produced by the Smile Factory in China in the M3 mold variation. The Palace Blaster came in 2 colors, brown or gray. There were other colors of the Palace Blaster, but if you want to be correct and pair this figure correctly, it only came with either the brown or the gray Palace Blaster. I got my figure at Star Wars Celebration 2022 for $154.65. You can pick up a green saber Luke Skywalker for average prices of $145. One of the great additions to the Return of the Jedi figures was Kenner's introduction to removable helmets, and we got one of the best with Princess Leia Organa's Bouche disguise. Released in 1983's Wave 1 of the 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks, the figure itself has great mold details, with the mentioned removable Bouche helmet and her black Bouche rifle that is unique to this figure only. I have heard of collectors being able to holster the blaster on this figure, so if you want to show me how, post a picture on the Padawan Academy on Facebook. This figure was graciously gifted to me by a viewer named Gary M. This figure is selling for average prices of $42. We get our first figure from Jabba's palace. The Gamorrean Guard is one of the heaviest figures in the Kenner line, and one of the biggest ones as well. He debuted on Wave 1's 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks. The detail on the figures again shows off Kenner's attention to detail. The figure comes with an axe, which is unique to this character. I bought my figure from eBay for $33.12, and prices in 2023 are averaging $25. The most elegant looking figure, in my opinion, is the Emperor's Royal Guard. Released in 1983's Wave 1 on the 65A cardbacks, this figure comes with a red soft goods robe and a gray pike that is unique to this figure. I got my figure from eBay for $57.67. And to get your own figure these days will cost you an average of $37. We get our first of many Ewoks in Chief Chirpa, released in 1983's Wave 1 on the 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks. This figure comes with a brown rubberized hood and a brown staff. This staff was used for 2 other figures. The Lily Letty Emperor used a black one, and the Lily Letty Wicket used a light brown one. The figure in my case is from my childhood collection, and I bought a staff on eBay for $14. To get this Ewok today will cost an average of $24. Logray Ewok Medicine Man is the tallest of the Ewoks and was released in Wave 1 on 1983's 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks. And let's just focus on the face detail. That is a warrior's face. This figure comes with 3 highly detailed accessories, a staff, a pouch, and a skull headgear, which are all unique to this figure. I got my figure from eBay for $34.96. To get this Ewok today will cost you an average of $24. Another one of Jabba's goons, Clay 2, was released in 1983 on Wave 1 of the 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks. His face has some great detail, and he comes with 2 accessories, a tan soft goods and pleather skirt, and a gray vibro axe. I got my figure from eBay for $17.80. Prices today are coming in at around $22. Here is a great Rebel Army builder, the Rebel Commando, released in 1983's Wave 1 of the 65A cardbacks. He comes with a tan rifle, and I got this figure on eBay for $34.43. Yet another figure from Jabba's palace, Weequay, debuted in 1983's Wave 1 of the 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks, and is another figure with some great detail both in the paint and the figure mold. This figure comes with the gray vibro axe. I bought this on eBay for $26.08. You can get figures of Weequay for prices of $15. Another Jabba goon, Squidhead, was actually Jabba's accountant in Legends. This figure debuted in 1983's Wave 1 on the 65A Return of the Jedi cardbacks. This figure comes with an array of accessories, a gray Bespin blaster, a silver belt, a dark brown soft goods cape, and a light tan soft goods skirt. I bought this figure from eBay for $43.79. One of the first figures I remember being in the 25-cent bins at stores, General Maydean debuted in 1983's Wave 1 on the 65A cardbacks and comes with a white staff. I had this figure from my childhood collection and bought the staff from Facebook for $15. General Madine figures are going for average prices of $26. One of the scariest figures of all time, and another Jabba Goon, Bib Fortuna debuted in 1983 in Wave 1 on the 65A card backs, and came with 3 accessories, a heavy velveteen robe, a staff, and a belt. The figure mold is one of the best in the line, and should be celebrated as one of Kenner's best renditions of a character. I got mine from eBay for $32.59. Today, Bib will cost you averages of $25. I remember getting Ree-Yees for Christmas, and since I didn't have a Boba Fett, he piloted my Slave 1. Another Jabba Goon, Ree-Yees debuted in 1983 on Wave 1 of the 65A card backs. This figure comes with the gold rifle, which is also used by the Uncle Gundy figure from the Droids action figure line from 1985. The figure in my case is from my childhood collection. You can get a Ree-Yees figure today for average prices of $20. We get our second Imperial figure with the Biker Scout, debuting in 1983 on Wave 1's 65A card backs and coming with the Biker Scout Blaster. This figure's main variant comes in 2 variants, in a short and long mouth version. The short mouth is from the Lily Letty Mexico factory. I bought my figure on eBay for $33.44. Biker Scout figures are averaging $36 in 2023. Lando Calrissian Skiff Guard Disguise debuted in 1983 in Wave 1 of the 65A card backs and is another figure to come with a removable helmet, and comes with some great detail in the figure mold. Lando also comes with a gray vibro axe. I got this figure graciously gifted to me from Gary M. You can get this Lando figure today for an average price of $26. The Emperor was offered as a mail-away figure on the 65C Return of the Jedi card backs, and originally came in a white box. He would get his cardback debut in 1984 on the 77A Return of the Jedi card backs in Wave 2, and he comes with a black cane. I got this figure gifted to me by my sister years ago from my childhood collection. Today, you can find great examples of the Emperor for average prices of $23. The B-Wing pilot debuted in 1984 in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs, and comes with the blue-gray Endor Blaster. I got this figure from eBay for $72.73. Right now, B-Wing figures are averaging prices of $60. Another Jabba Goon, Nikto, debuted in 1984 on Wave 2 of the Return of the Jedi 77A card backs. He comes with the Skiff Vibro Axe, and I got mine for $35 at Toy Addicts in San Diego. Today, Nikto figures are going for average prices of $30. Another figure from Jabba's Palace, and the only droid offered in the Return of the Jedi figures, 88. Debuted in 1984 in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs. This figure comes with no accessories. I got this figure from eBay for $18.99. You can pick this figure up today for average prices of $16. Our second Leia figure is Princess Leia Organa in Combat Poncho, debuting in 1984 in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs, and is another figure with a removable helmet. This figure also comes with a soft goods camouflage poncho, a black belt, and a blue Endor Blaster, which can be holstered in the belt. I got mine gifted to me from my mother before she passed away, and this is my most special figure in my possession. I got the helmet from eBay for $34.17. Today, this figure commands average prices of $110. Wicket W. Warwick debuted in 1984 on Wave 2's 77A card backs, and is the smallest figure of the Return of the Jedi figures. He comes with a brown rubberized hood and a spear. The character was named after the actor that portrayed him, Warwick Davis, and the W stands for Wistery, which we find out in the Ewok cartoon that debuted in 1985. I got my figure on eBay for $65.24. Today, Wicket figures are going for average prices of $65. Another one of Jabba's goons, and played by Corey Williams in the movie Who is Billy D. Williams' Son, this figure debuted in 1984 on Wave 2 on the 77A card backs, and comes with the Force Pike. I got this figure from eBay for $34.67. This figure today is selling for average prices of $30. We finally get a Han figure in 1984. Han Solo Trenchcoat was in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs and comes with a tan camouflage trenchcoat, which comes in either a blank lapel or camo lapel, and a black Rebel Blaster. I got this figure from Ryan L. at the ICCC in 2022 for $50. You can get this figure today for average prices of $53. Tebow debuted in 1984 on Wave 2 of the 77A card backs. He comes with a wild boar headdress, an axe, and a horn on a strap. The figure I had in my childhood collection, and the accessories I got at the 2022 ICC Con for $25. Tebow is selling for average prices today of $34. Pruneface debuted in 1984 in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs. He comes with a tan soft goods cloak and a brown rifle. This character's name is actually called Ori Marco, which we found out in 1995's Galaxy Guides 12, Aliens, Enemies and Allies by West End Games. I got this figure gifted by Nilda from Appetite for Collectibles right here on YouTube. Today, Pruneface is selling for prices averaging $49. Our fourth Imperial figure comes in the ATST driver, which debuted in 1984 on Wave 2's 77A card backs. He comes with the blue-gray Endor Blaster, and in the movie was played by Return of the Jedi director Richard Marquand. I got this figure for $40.64 with a separated card back from eBay. Today, ATST drivers are selling for average prices of $67. Another one of the biggest figures in the line, the Rancor Keeper, debuted in 1984 in Wave 2 on the 77A card backs. He comes with a dark gray gaffy stick and a removable hood. I got this figure on eBay for $48.49. Today, Rancor Keepers are selling for average prices of $45. The next two figures were released on Wave 3 on the 79 card backs, but are always mistaken as being released on the Power of the Force line, calling them the Last 17. You'll find out that it should actually be called the Last 15. Lumet was released in 1984 on the 79C Wave 3 card backs and comes with a hood, bow, and a quiver. I got this figure with the coin from eBay for $98.83. You can get figures of Lumat today for average prices of $142. Paploo debuted in 1984 on the 79C card backs and comes with a hood and staff. I got this figure for $120 on eBay, and the coin I got gifted to me from Nilda from Appetite for Collectibles right here on YouTube. Today, Paploo figures are selling for average prices of $108. After the success of The Return of the Jedi in 1983, only coming in second in box office numbers behind the original Star Wars, the money just wasn't made in theater tickets, but the merchandising as well. From breakfast cereal, lunchboxes, clothing, Star Wars was on everything. And yes, even action figures. The Return of the Jedi action figures were made by a company based in Cincinnati, Ohio called Kenner. Having signed a deal with Lucasfilm in April of 1977, only 1 month before the Star Wars movie came out, and Kenner would produce the entire Star Wars toy line, and the Return of the Jedi toy line was their most profitable yet. But there was a problem on the horizon. There were no new plans to release any more Star Wars movies. George Lucas had always talked about doing prequels, as seen here in this clip from Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher in 1980.
We finish off the trilogy, then we go back 20 years, and we do the story of young Darth Vader and the young Alec Guinness character. And in the third film, which precedes Star Wars, you see.
Like a prequel.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Luke is about 5 or 6 years old, so I don't know, maybe one of your Blue Peter viewers will be up for the role.
And there were no immediate plans to make an Episode 7 that would show us what happens next to our heroes after the events of The Return of the Jedi. But Kenner still had the license to produce all the Star Wars toys, and it wanted to keep sales alive. So, teaming up with Lucasfilm, they pitched the Power of the Force toy line. Now, there was a Power of the Force toy line introduced in 1995, but that was done by Hasbro. I can feel you typing comments on your keyboard right now as we speak about that. In the Power of the Force line, released in 1985, 15 new action figures were introduced. Some people like to say that the Power of the Force released 17 new figures, but 2 of those figures, Paplu and Lumat, those were released in 1984 on the Return of the Jedi card backs. And there was one more you're probably thinking as a technicality. Before you type in those comments, I got you. It gets better. So, 15 new action figures, and they came with coins.
Coming from the farthest reaches of space are the most awe-inspiring, the most desired gifts of the galaxies. They are the Star Wars Collector's Coins.
The coins were added to make kids and collectors excited for the new line without it being attached to a new Star Wars movie. The marketing departments over at Kenner and Lucasfilm thought the idea of adding collector's coins that would come inside the carded bubble. Not only would they be on the newest 15 figures, but 22 action figures previously released in the first 3 movies were also repacked in the new Power of the Force cards, and they included their own unique coins as well. One side depicted the character, and the other side had a description of the character. And I just want to know who had the job of writing those. Some of these are funny to read. I'm not bashing you. I salute you. Even though there were only 37 figures released in the Power of the Force packaging, there were a total of 62 coins, as Kenner was planning on releasing more of the legacy figures with their own Power of the Force card back. There's also a special coin, the Jedi coin. It was going to be offered as a special mail-away offer on the 93 back of the Power of the Force carded figures, which were never made. It's said that only 10 Jedi coins are in existence, which makes this coin the rarest of the rare, as they were only gifted to Kenner executives with a display box. And since there was no giveaway, these never got distributed as a set. But wait, there's more. There's also a 64th coin that is often forgotten about, the Luke X-Wing coin. It was going to be planned as a mail-away offer also, and it's also said that 400 were actually made. Instead of the Power of the Force logo, there's a Yoda head. And there's also stories of collectors and kids writing letters to Kenner, and Kenner writing back saying that for a small fee, they could buy the entire set of 62 coins. Also, the AT-AT driver and Nikto figures from the Power of the Force line, those were only released outside the USA and came with coins from other figures. So there were only 35 different coins, not 37. And there is more info on these coins, like the errors and prototypes. So if you want to see my in-depth video on that, there's a link in the description. And also, if you're new to the channel and like Star Wars vintage history, hit that subscribe button. So let's get into the 15 new figures released in 1985 by Kenner from the Power of the Force. Anakin Skywalker. Anakin made his debut as a mail-away figure on the 79 card backs of the Return of the Jedi action figures. Although he would not come on a card back, but come mailed in a white box in a sealed Kenner stamp baggie. As all of the Power of the Force figures, he would get his official release on cardback in 1985. This figure comes with no accessories and often gets made fun of for having a grandpa-like friendly smile. But this directly depicts his performance given by actor Sebastian Shaw in the original released film, which was later updated in 2004 for the DVD releases of The Return of the Jedi to Hayden Christensen. This action figure is the most affordable in the entire Power of the Force line, and I picked this one up for $36.78 on eBay in 2021. And today, it's sitting around that same price for a loose action figure in great condition. In May of 2023, I got the coin at the ICC Con in Nashville, and this coin is on the rare side, since the mail-away figure didn't come with one. And the Anakin Power of the Force figure was not widely distributed in Europe, Canada, or even the US in high volumes. I bought the coin for $300. And if any of you have picked up these coins and felt them, they honestly feel like plastic, even though they're made of aluminum. But $300 for an aluminum coin? Welcome to vintage collecting. And that's the general average price right now. In 1985, I remember seeing a Man-O-Man figures on the store shelves as an 8-year-old and thinking, that is not a Star Wars figure. Add to that, I thought the Power of the Force figures, I thought they were Star Wars knockoffs since there was no movie called The Power of the Force. I was young. I did not know how marketing worked. If I had a VCR back then, I could have freeze-framed to find a Man-O-Man in Jabba's palace. A Padawan aka the Space Pickle was actually released almost a year earlier in 1984 in the Sears exclusive Jabba the Hutt Dungeon Action playset. We would get his official cardback release in 1985 on the Power of the Force cardbacks with a collector's coin. He also comes with a staff that is highly detailed with all the skulls of his poor bounty victims. This is one of the biggest figures released on card and the most unique for sure. His staff often gets bent and broken easily, so when buying one for full market price, make sure the staff is straight and has all the detail with nothing broken off. I got this figure from a Facebook seller for $285, and I also got the coin on Facebook for $30. And checking on the Star Wars tracker, the coin is averaging for $45 to $50 prices right now, and the figure is sitting around the price I'd paid for it with averages in the $285 to $300 range. Barada. Barada is another figure that comes from the Jabba the Hutt dungeon and was seen next to Luke Skywalker as he was pushed out to the Sarlacc. They gave us a lot of action figures from Jabba's palace. A lot. Barada comes with the Skiff Guard staff, and like a Padawan, you could have gotten him packed in the 1984 Sears exclusive Jabba the Hutt Dungeon Action playset. He got his official cardback release in 1985 on the Power of the Force cards with a collector's coin. I got the coin for $27 on Facebook and the figure for $110.02 from eBay. And checking out the current market prices, average prices for a loose Barada is coming in at around $150, and the coin prices are averaging at $40. So those prices are on the uptick at the moment. EV-99 was another figure you could have gotten in 1984 in the Sears exclusive Jabba the Hutt Dungeon Action playset. Some people want to call EV-99 a female droid. Just stop. That's like calling these Death Star plans a male. Just stop. It's a droid. This figure got its official release in 1985 and comes with no accessories, but does have a jaw that you can move with a small lever in the back of its head. This is one of the tallest figures in the line, and is also one that breaks easily, as the joints and the legs tend to bow, and you rarely see one with straight legs. This figure is more on the expensive side, with figures currently selling for prices averaging from $325 to $400 for those perfect straight leg examples. And the coin, priced out on its own, is about $40 average right now. And I was able to buy my figure from a Facebook seller in 2021 for $205.25 with the coin included. That was a great deal. The A-Wing pilot was released in 1985 on 2 Star Wars toy lines. The first is obviously the Power of the Force line, and the second was on the Droids cartoon line of action figures. Both come with the black Endor blaster, and both come with coins. However, the Power of the Force version is a silver color, and the Droids coin is a gold color. I bought my loose figure complete with coin for a total of $214.74 in 2021. Today, the coin is selling alone for average prices of $30 to $40, and the complete figure is selling for average prices of $300 to $315. So those prices are on the uptick right now. Han Solo in Carbonite Chamber, released in 1985 on the Power of the Force cardbacks, is one of my favorite figures, and definitely has one of the best accessories in the Carbonite Chamber that's molded to fit the action figure perfectly. This figure does not come with any blaster accessories, and that's okay. This figure also comes with its own collector's coin, and if anyone here is selling an acrylic to display the Carbonite, I would love to get one, so reach out to me. I'm buying. I got the complete loose figure from eBay for $260.42, and the coin I got on Facebook for $40, both in 2022. And today, the complete loose action figure is selling for average prices of $250, so that is on a downtick. And the coin is selling for about $40 average price, so that one's staying steady. And doing these price comparisons of what I got them for and what they're selling for now, I think is interesting. I used to collect baseball cards when I was a kid, and I still have them. And I used to get those Beckett guides. Do you remember those? I mean, they're still out today. And I used to see how much value my cards had. It's like the early version of the stock market for kids. The Imperial Dignitary was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force cardbacks. And this is a figure that we all wanted back in 1985. No, we didn't. But we got it, and we love it. I actually do. This figure was another one only shown briefly on screen, and the figure comes with no accessories, but does come with its own collector's coin. In 2021, I got the coin for $30 on Facebook, and I picked up the action figure from eBay for $137.69 in 2021. And today, that figure is selling for average prices of $140, so staying steady. The coin is selling for average prices at $35, so that is on a slight uptick. The Imperial Gunner was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs, and this is one of my favorite looking figures. It's just clean, menacing looking. It's a classic Empire figure. This comes with the black Endor Blaster, and should be noted that it only came with the L mold black Endor Blaster from the Cater Factory, also called an M4. The blaster alone can run $150, so look for good deals on this one, and you probably want to buy it complete. Right now, the complete loose figure is selling for average prices of $330, and the coin is averaging at prices of $40. I was able to get my figure and the coin for a price of $205.25 in 2021 from a Facebook seller. And that is a great deal. Luke Skywalker in Imperial Stormtrooper outfit. We finally get a figure, besides Han, that kids actually wanted in 1985. This figure comes with a removable Stormtrooper helmet. I have the hardest time saying removable. Why can't I say removable? And the solid black Imperial Blaster. I get more emails and comments about this particular figure than any other figure. So right now, in this point of history, 2023, there has never been a time when this figure has ever been seen carded pairing with anything else other than the solid black Imperial Blaster. And if you find one carded in the Power of the Force line, join my Facebook group at the Padawan Academy and show me a picture. Other than this figure looking like it was molded after John Denver than Mark Hamill, it comes with his own collector's coin. And in 2021, I got my complete figure from a Facebook seller for $275, and the coin from Orange Droid Vintage Toys for $30. Today, the complete figure is selling for average prices of $360, so it's on an uptick there. And the coin is selling for $35, so about the same price, staying steady. Lando Calrissian General Pilot was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force cards. And this was the Lando that we should have always gotten him back in the 80s. His soft goods cape looks like it was tailored just for Lando. Lando does not buy clothes off the rack. Let's just be clear about that. And he comes with the black Palace Blaster. And this blaster is highly expensive to buy on its own, sometimes selling for upwards of $150. And if you're subscribed to my channel, I just gave away 2 of these. Hit that subscribe button. Get cool stuff. This figure also comes with its own unique coin. I got my complete loose figure for $300 even, and it came with its card back and the coin included. Right now, the complete loose figure is selling for average prices of $300, and the coin alone is selling for $20, so we are about even for that one. Give or take about 20 bucks. And let's just be straight about one thing. I am not into collecting for the money, but it's always been fun to see what your collection may be worth. I mean, realistically, these figures are worth nothing, $0. So yeah, I'm not in it for the money. Stop being so uptight. Just hang out. You're cool. Luke Skywalker in Battle Poncho was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs. And I think this figure is one of the hardest figures to take care of, as this comes in its soft goods brown and tan camo poncho. This poncho gets frayed and rips super easy, so if you have a pristine version, either grade it or seal it in an underground vault with no light, in a vacuum sealed door guarded by the oracles from A Never-Ending Story. Did you ever watch that movie when you were a kid, The Never-Ending Story? Did you notice the oracles? What? I'm gonna watch that movie later on. I was like 8 when I saw that. How old am I now? Good question. This figure comes with the aforementioned black Palace Blaster, as well as a black belt where you can holster the blaster in. And it also comes with its unique collector's coin. The main gripe I have with this figure is why Kenner never gave us a removable helmet like its counterpart in The Return of the Jedi with Princess Leia Organa in combat poncho. In 2022, I got my loose complete version of Luke Skywalker in combat poncho with its coin included for $200 even. Right now, the figure alone is selling for average prices of $300, and the coin is selling for averages of $25. So prices are on an uptick for sure. Ramba was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs. This figure comes with a removable hood and a spear that was also used by Wicked's figure from The Return of the Jedi, released in 1983. Ramba also comes with its coin, and I was able to pick mine up with the coin included from Orange Droid Vintage Toys in 2021 for $239. And right now, the complete loose figure is selling for average prices of $175, and the coins are selling for about $25. So prices are on the downtrend on that one. Warwick. All these words are hard for me to say. I don't know what's going on today. Warwick was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs and comes with 3 accessories: a removable hood, a bow, and a quiver. This also comes with its unique coin. In 2021, I bought the complete loose figure and coin from Orange Droid Vintage Toys for $305.33. And right now, loose complete figures are selling for average prices of $275, and the coin for average prices of $25. So prices are stable on Warwick. Everything is hard for me to say today. Even my own name probably. R2-D2 with lightsaber was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs. And this is the same body type as the previously released vintage figures. But this figure updates the sensor scope version released on the Empire Strikes Back toys and replaces it with a green saber that shoots out from a hole in its dome. The lightsaber looks more like a baseball bat, and buying the lightsaber alone is a pretty penny, so you want to probably buy this one complete. By click twisting the dome, you can make the saber rise or lower. This also comes with its own unique coin, and the loose figure is one of the most expensive figures in the Power of the Force line. At least to buy today, I was able to get my complete loose figure in 2021 from a Facebook seller for $379. And the coin I bought from a Facebook seller in 2021 for $25. And right now, complete loose figures are selling for average prices of $600. $600 for an R2. And right now the coins are averaging for prices of $50. So this one is on a major uptick, at least for figures in great condition. So take my figure for instance. You can see that my figure isn't in the best of shape. So right now I could probably sell this one for about $400, but somebody will snatch this up right away. That figure is actually one that I see for sale a lot and going for high prices all the time, consistently. Now let's get into the most famous of these figures, and sometimes the most expensive. Yak Face was released in 1985 on the Power of the Force card backs. This is the rarest figure in the Power of the Force line, as it was only available in Canada and Europe on the Power of the Force cards. It was never released in the US on the Power of the Force cards. The Yak Face figure was released later on Tri-Logo cards in Europe, Canada, and the UK, but some of those Tri-Logo cards made their way to US stores on the Canadian border of the US East Coast. The Tri-Logo cards packed the figures alone and was not packaged with the coin or the skiff guard staff, making the coin a rare object to collect. And because of this, it's reflected in the current market cost. I was able to get an okay version of a complete loose Yak Face from a Facebook seller in early 2022 for $450. And since the coin is so expensive, I have not been able to buy one unless I want to pay over $1,000 for it. A loose complete Yak Face action figure is currently selling for average prices of $575. So definitely an expensive figure. Besides the action figures, we also got vehicles released in the Ewok Battle Wagon, the Tatooine Skiff, and 3 mini rigs in the Imperial Sniper, Sand Skimmer, and the Security Scout, which we will go over in a future episode. I only showed the ones that came released mints on card. There are so many others that we're going to go over today, and I think make a complete set of vintage Kenner Star Wars action figures. Some you may agree with, and some you may not. So if you like watching videos like this about vintage and modern action figures, like this video and hit that subscribe button. So let's start at the beginning. 1978. And we're going to start with the Death Star Space Station. This was a playset that had 4 levels of play areas, and on the bottom level was an orange plastic trash compactor that came with the Dianoga Trash Monster. In the movie, we never got to see the full character, but Kenner had to imagine what this creature looked like, and this is what we got. It's not a big figure at all, fitting in the palm of your hand, and it's not hard plastic, but it feels like rubber. And there's no articulation in this figure whatsoever, no paint apps, so I can see why some collectors call this an accessory and not a figure. But I do think it's an action figure. I was able to get mine loose for a price of $69.85, which I then got graded at a 90 by CAS. And I also got one loose in fair condition, gifted to me from a viewer that I placed in my collector displays case. Right now, they're selling on their own for average prices of $60 on eBay. The next figure is one of the most popular variants in the entire Kenner line, the blue Snaggletooth. Although I don't really see it as a variant or an error, I see it as a playset exclusive figure. It came with the 1978 Cantina Adventure set, which was a Sears exclusive, with 3 other action figures featured in the Cantina scenes. You could have also gotten the blue Snaggletooth in a 2-pack with Greedo from the Sears Holiday Catalog in 1978. And both this pack and the Cantina Adventure Set figures were replaced by the smaller and redder Snaggletooth. To see my video on the history of why this happened, there's a link down in my description. But here's the short version. Kenner got a black and white reference photo, so they guessed, and made the figure blue and tall, and they even gave him great 70s space boots. The updated figure was short, red, and had furry feet. This figure comes with the blue-black Rebel Blaster. The blue Snaggletooth comes with a dent in the right foot, which some say is a flaw in the mold, as other figures made later in the runs don't have this dent. So it may be a factory error, or the metallic mold itself had an imperfection in it. I have both versions. My dented one is graded at an 80, which I got for $725 at Dallas Vintage Toys in 2021. And my loose, non-dent version I got for $425 from a Facebook seller. Today, a loose dented blue Snaggletooth in great condition will run you averages of $475, and a non-dent will run you about $550. I guess the price is telling you which one's more valuable, but to me, I love them both. The Patrol Dewback was released in 1979, and I used this to battle Godzilla when he would try to attack my Star Wars toys. True story. And let's get this elephant in the room over with. A Dewback isn't an action figure. It's a mindless creature. Well, I think it is an action figure, and it's got action, it's articulated, it's a figure in my book. It just has 4 legs. Call it a vehicle if you must, but to me, and in my collection, it's an action figure. A larger action figure, but it's a figure. Do you agree or disagree with me? Let me know in the comments. The Patrol Dewback came with a spring-loaded latch to have a figure right on top. It also came with saddle and reins, which these days, the reins usually come broken, so when buying them, ask about that. Also, sellers will try to repair these reins and not tell you, so ask about that before you buy. And document that conversation, because if it comes to you and you find that they have been repaired by adhesive, you can return the item because, well, it wasn't sold as advertised. I got my B version box. It's the B version if it has this promotion on the box. I got this from the Vintage Alliance on Facebook for $175 in 2021. And right now, in 2023, these are selling for average prices of $310. Loose and complete, they are selling for average prices of $80. Just make sure that the reins aren't broken. The Droid Factory was released in 1979 and came with a bunch of parts that you could use to make droids. Honestly, I think this is one of the best toys to come out in the entire Kenner line. The best part is that you can make an R2 unit that came with a 3rd leg. I have 2 versions of this playset, one in an Empire Strikes Back box and the other in the original Star Wars box. And I did full reviews on both of these, and links to watch that will be in the description. But I also picked up a loose version of just the R2 unit because I do think this is a critical figure to have in your loose collection. There is so much history and uniqueness in this figure that if you don't have one, I think your collection is not complete. And I was able to get an okay version from a seller on the Imperial Commissary on Facebook for $100.50 in 2021, and you can find them selling in the wild for average prices of $100 for okay versions. So prices are steady on this in 2023. But your best bet is to hunt for a complete Droid Factory set. The Tauntaun was first released in 1980 by Kenner for the Empire Strikes Back line of toys. This was the closed belly version and came with the saddle, reins, which again, they always break, as well as a compartment to place your figures in to ride. There is articulation in the arms and legs, but not the head. I have an okay box one that I bought for $50 at TC's Rockets right here in San Diego, and I bought a loose one for $65 from a seller on Facebook. Yeah, I paid way too much for that one. I was impatient. I was a young Padawan when I bought that one. My buy it now figure was trigger happy. You can find them today on eBay, complete with unbroken reins and saddles for average prices of $35 to $40. The Turret and Probot playset came out in 1981 for the Empire Strikes Back wave of toys. And just as the name suggests, the Probot was one of the main features of this. Now, why they didn't call it a probe droid? It's kind of beyond me, but maybe the marketing department over at Kenner thought calling a toy a probe was a little too weird. I can totally get on board with that. But yes, I do think this fits really well with a collection of loose Star Wars action figures, and this toy could have sold pretty well all on its own. Its head is articulated. All of the arms are articulated, at least in the joints that connect to the body. And I bought my loose version in a complete playset for $60. And right now you can find the figure by itself for prices averaging $30 to $40. So if you can find a complete Turret and Probot playset for the same amount or a little more, I'd rather do that instead. The next one may be a stretch, and I actually don't have this yet. I mean, I did when I was a kid, and I wish I still had it. It's the Slave One, but we aren't talking about the ship. We're talking about what came inside the ship. Han Solo in Carbonite. Slave One was released in 1981 for the Empire Strikes Back wave of toys. And when I had this Han in Carbonite, I actually kept it under Jabba's throne and not inside Slave One. But let's argue why this is an action figure. Well, it's a depiction of an action figure that's frozen inside Carbonite. It still displays well in an action figure case right next to your main figures or inside a diorama, and it still has play value with all other action figures. So why isn't it an action figure? Well, it's just a hollow piece of plastic with no articulation. I'm on the fence. What do you think? Right now, you can buy one online for about $40. You know what? I'm sold. I'm gonna get one. Okay, let's place a bid. Okay, outbid. Outbid again. And again. And again. All right, I'm going to stop doing this. If any of you have a Han and Carbonite that you want to sell, just DM me. All my social media links are down in my description. In 1982, the Open Belly Tauntaun was introduced. It came with the same features as the 1980 version, except this time you can place action figures in the open slit on the belly to reenact the scene where Han saves Luke by stuffing him into the dead Tauntaun. Morbid, I know, but hey, that's survival. I got a boxed Open Belly Tauntaun gifted from my friend Mark over at Blue Harvest Vintage Toys right here on YouTube. So that was rad. Thank you very much, Mark. And I got a loose one for my case from the Imperial Commissary on Facebook for $33 in 2021. And right now, you can buy a complete loose version for average prices of $60. Just watch out for those broken reins. The Wabba was released in 1982 for the Empire Strikes Back line of toys. This figure only has articulation in the arms and legs, nothing in the head, and I do have a very nice complete box version that I got for $380. My loose version I got in 2021 for $33.14 on eBay. It's not perfectly white, but there are things you can do I'm a purist and I don't do that, but you can get better versions online for prices of $30. So prices are staying steady in 2023. And I got this baby Wampa from my friends over at thenext17.com. The Jabba the Hutt action playset was released in 1983, and this comes with one of the coolest figures of all time, Jabba the Hutt. This is a perfect rendition of him. The detail in the mold and the paint apps are perfect. His face detail is spot on, and the eyes are pure perfection. This figure has articulation in the head, arms, and the tail, and I have one for my childhood collection, but the arm comes off. So I was able to get a perfect loose complete playset for $110 in early 2021. I do have a box version that I got for $275 that comes with everything sealed in baggies, the cardboard, and the paperwork, and there is a link to see more info on that review, and I love doing those reviews. So if you want to check that out, please do. But right now, you can get a loose complete playset for averages of $135. And if you just want to buy the Jabba the Hutt by itself, you can find them for sale for averages of $25. And how can I forget Salacious Crumb, who also comes in that same playset? It has articulation in the tail and the tail only, but the detail on this little guy is pretty cool in my opinion. Definitely brings out his ornery personality. And you can find loose standalone figures for average prices of $10 right now. The Rancor monster was released in 1984 for the Return of the Jedi line of toys. If you consider this an action figure, then this is the biggest one made in the vintage line and is another one that shows off the level of detail and engineering that Kenner was getting so good at towards the end of the line. The body mold design is great. The face detail is perfection. This has a working jaw, articulation in the wrists, arms, and legs. And I do have an excellent complete box version that I got for $140 from a Facebook auction in 2021. And I got an okay loose version for $60 from a seller on Facebook in 2021. Right now, you can buy a loose Rancor in excellent condition for average prices of $85. Size Noodles and the Rebo Band was released in 1984 for Return of the Jedi, in the only retail action figure set by Kenner that wasn't a repack of already carded figures. This came with 3 action figures: Sice Noodles, that comes with her plastic skirt and microphone, Droopy McCool, that comes with his clarinet-like horn, and Max Rebo, that comes with his keyboard and microphone. Now for this one, there is a rule. If Droopy's horn is black, then the mics have to be silver. If his horn is silver, then the mics have to be black. That's how they came packaged. I don't know why. I bought the box set in excellent condition for $375 in early 2021, and my loose versions I paid too much for because I made the mistake of buying the wrong accessories. So altogether, my loose figures came in at a high price of $225.22 for what I consider just okay figures. All you collectors out there, learn from my mistakes. Do what I do when I do it right, but when I do it wrong, just shake your head and say, I will never do that. Research your figures before you buy. This is a public service announcement from yours truly, the Padawan Collector. Right now, you can buy loose versions of the band in excellent condition for average prices of $200, and that's with a very blue Max Rebo, and it's always harder to find the Max Rebo Kenner versions without faded blue arms. The Lily Lady Mexico versions tend to always have blue arms. So now you can go back and watch this entire series to see every figure made from 1978 to 1985 and use these as a checklist. And there's a link to this entire playset down there in my description. And these are what I think are the loose action figures that make a complete Star Wars action figure collection. And make sure to visit all the links in my description to support the channel. There you're gonna find links for my merch shop, which I might add, I have made some pretty cool new Padawan designs, so check those out. You can also go and buy your own collecting sheet from my website, as well as items that you may need to protect and display your collection. It's all at thepadawancollector.com. And if you want to support the channel further and become a member of my awesome community, you can join over at Patreon for as little as $2.50 a month. You're going to get access to videos before the public sees them, and also you get the entire catalog of my digital downloads, which includes my collector sheets. And if you'd rather keep your support here on YouTube, you can join for as little as 99 cents a month. where you get early access to videos weeks ahead of the public, member giveaways, member shoutouts, and more. And I thank all my channel supporters. Even by liking and subscribing, it greatly helps the channel. Without your support, videos like this would not be possible. And make sure to check out other videos of the channel, like the ones you're seeing on your screen now. And as always, my friends, thank you, and I will see you next time.
If you're new to the channel, check out the welcome video, or just check out the next episode. And please subscribe if you want to follow the journey. And remember, there is no shame in being a Padawan.